Hello viewers, and welcome to a brand new episode of Trashtalk on Fabula Ultima, a series where I talk about the various classes you can mix together to create your desired heroic characters in your Fabula Ultima campaign. In today's episode, Rogue, Bandit, Ninja, Thief. Rogues are those that are willing to play a little dirty to get what they want, a fair honorable fight. Forget that, rogues avoid those because winning that isn't a guarantee. This is how it's like to be a rogue. In terms of mechanic, Rogue in Fabula Ultima is more like what you would expect with Rogue class in a MMORPG. They are faster, and dodge more, and has a lot of tricks up their sleeves, which is further helped by the Rogue free benefits, which gives you +2 to your maximum inventory points instead of a HP or MP increase, making Rogue one out of the 3 classes that give you this exact free benefit. I also just want to say that it's very funny how Rogue, the class that can just get out of any situation, is the last core rulebook class to be reviewed. The choice isn't made by me, that's for sure. Anyway, let's talk about the rogue skills first, starting with Cheap Shot. Cheap Shot, when you hit a creature with an attack, and only that creature, and if the creature also suffers from a status effect or 2, you can deal extra damage equal to a max of 5 plus the number of status effects suffered by the target. Already, this highlights one thing the rogue wants, kicking the sick and the weak. However, none of rogue skill inflicts status effects on people, so you will want to mix in classes that can do that for more potential damage. Second, Dodge. If you have no shield and wearing no martial armor, your defense score is increased by up to 3. This is the one skill you will need to keep you alive by keeping attacks from hitting you, unless you are playing a rogue that wears plate armor, and despite that nobody can detect your presence when you crouch down. Third, High Speed. At the start of a conflict, you may spend 10 MP and perform one of the following before start of first round: perform free attack with a weapon, or use hinder or objective action to get to the goal of the fight quicker. You also gain a bonus equal to the skill level to all checks performed for the chosen option. Simply put, someone starts a fight, you just immediately stabs that someone in the back before starting the fight normally, or even completes or delays the objective of the fight faster. Either will be very useful, especially when you also get a bonus to the check too. Fourth, See You Later Alligator. You may spend 1 action and 1 Fabula point to vanish from the current situation. You can then reappear whenever you want during a different scene in which another player character is present. Describe how. Do you want to be Batman? This is how you be Batman, or Tuxedo Mask, I suppose. No matter what situation you found yourself in, you can just say no as long as you have a Fabula point, and then you can just pop back in later after the fight, or even get in a player character solo scene that should be impossible for you to enter. Needless to say, this is a powerful narrative ability that can be real fun to use. And lastly, there's Soul Steal. You may use an action to perform a Dex plus willpower check against the magic defense of a creature. If you succeed and the target is a soldier rank, you recover up to 5 inventory points. If the target is elite or champion rank, the game master gives you that target's soul treasure, an item worth an amount of zenith equal or lower than this equation that I will just talk about later. The soul treasure will appear in your backpack, and a creature can only be successfully stolen from this skill once. Also, you gain a bonus to the check equal to the skill levels. The first part of the skill is tremendously useful, up to 5 inventory point upon a success. Holy shit, do it with every opportunity you could get. That's crazy. The other part of my thought is, if a Tinkerer has rogue class mixed in with this skill, that is gonna be busted. For the second part of the skill, it's just free shit. Even if it's early in a campaign, at level 10, you could still get like 500 zenith worth of something from a villain boss. It might not necessarily be a weapon or armor, but it's a good starting point for GM to figure out what stuff to throw at if one of your players keep using the skill at every possible moment, because the allure of getting free shit is incredibly strong. The best part about this is that the equation isn't affected by skill level at all, meaning you could put only 1 point here and you can steal all the free stuff, just that your success rate might be lower. All in all, even if you use the skill only occasionally, you still gonna find yourself eventually needing a spreadsheet to keep track of your loot. Upon putting 10 levels into Rogue, it is now considered as mastered, and you can pick a heroic skill for it. In total, there's 7 rogue-specific heroic skills in Fabula Ultima, 2 in core rulebook, 1 in high fantasy, 1 in techno fantasy, 2 in natural fantasy, and 1 more in the 6th Fabula Ultima bonus supplement. Starting with core rulebook first, there's Pillage, which also requires the Soul Steal skill, in which when you use the skill, you may target any number of creatures at the same time, how did this get past the balancing? This feels incredibly busted in so many ways. It upgrades the skill from pickpocket to stealing an entire IKEA. If you pick this heroic skill, Spreadsheet goes from a suggestion to necessity with how much crap you are gonna get. Then there's Vanish. When you hit one or more creatures with an attack, you can spend a Fabula point so that each of those creatures cannot perform any action that requires them to be able to see you until the start of your next turn. So, this skill is good, until it gets to the requires a Fabula point part. Sure, Fabula point isn't exactly that rare, you will always get at least one per session, but at the same time, spending a Fabula point just so a bunch of enemies can't target you for only a turn is extremely situational to say the least. If you need protection that badly, just ask the party's meat shield politely, and if you want to get out of a situation this badly, see you later is right there. Also, it's not pillage, Jesus Christ, just pick pillage, it's so ridiculous, just pick it, damn it. Moving on to high fantasy, Blade Adept is a heroic skill good for those that want to use dagger for that roguish feel. It can also be unlocked by Blade Master. With one or more dagger, you gain +1 to defense and magic defense, and can treat dagger as brawling, sword, and thrown weapons for the purpose of skill and effects, allowing you to stack even more bonus and abilities on them. Also, you can attack enemies that cannot be attacked by melee attack otherwise with dagger. It's an excellent heroic skill for dagger user for sure, with so many bonuses that can be utilized in so many flexible ways, more defense, more skill combo, and even anti-bird capability. What's not to like? Onward to techno fantasy, there's Bullet Time, which can also be unlocked by Entropist and requires both dodge from rogue and stolen time from Entropist. Essentially, you can gain a massive bonus to your initiative, and also, should you have no shield or martial armor, you suffer less damage from dodge, and doing more extra damage from stolen time. It's a nice heroic skill. You can do things faster, take less damage, and do more damage too, as long as you actually max out these skills. Something to consider. Onto natural fantasy, first there's Ephemeral Tranquility, which can also be unlocked by Dancer, Esper, Spiritist, and Symbolist. When you cast Hallucination and Torpor spells, which are both Spiritist spells, you may apply both status effects to the target, and during conflict, you may spend an action and up to 20 MP to basically detonate status effects on target per 10 MP for a staggering amount of damage. You also recover 20 MP for every enemies reaching crisis or 0 health from this method. Remember Cheap Shot, this is a good heroic skill to pair if you do use Spiritist, as it would be easy to apply status effects to target. Then you can either use Cheap Shot for a more consistent amount of extra damage, or spend MP to detonate status effects on foes instead for more damage. If you don't have Spiritist spells however, then it's debatable, because being able to inflict 2 status effects with one action is really powerful. Then there's Silent Hunter, which can also be unlocked by Sharpshooter and Weapon Master, but requires the high speed skill from Rogue. When you use high speed to perform a free attack with bow, spear, or thrown weapon, the attack deals up to 15 more extra damage. Additionally, when you attack creatures with bow, spear, or thrown weapons, they can't perform any free attack either until the end of the current turn. In essence, you just do more damage before anyone could even get ready with specific weapons, but only for that one attack. As for the second half, this mostly apply to only elite or boss enemies who have tricks like these up their sleeves. It's up to you really. And finally, in the 6th Fabula Ultima bonus supplement, there's like an open book, which can also be unlocked by Esper and Lore Master, but requires the Soul Steal skill. After you successfully use Soul Steal on one or more creature, you can immediately use study action against them for free. Treat the roll result you use for study action the same as the one you get for Soul Steal. Also, when you deal damage to elite or champion enemy, after you stole their soul treasure, you also do up to 5 extra damage. In short, you can learn a lot from a stolen wallet, and can kick bosses extra hard while they are crying over financial crisis. It's a very useful utility heroic skill for sure, and that's basically it on Rogue. Someone you can totally depend on to run away on the first hard fight, and that's all of the classes available in the core Fabula Ultima rulebook done. Finally, we are moving on to the supplement, but which one you might be asking? Well, that's for you to find out next time. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.